Hi guys, it's Andreas again, and today we're going to be using the Content Aware tool. So come and jump in with me and let's see what it does and how it works, and also basically how it can benefit you. So as you can see already on the screen, we've got some water droplet shots that I'd done, I don't know, a few months ago, and I'm going to show you how we can extend this just to add a bit more, just make it a bit more different. Let's say you wanted it as a banner, for example, or you wanted to stretch it for whatever reason, you wanted to clone in something else to the left or the right of it. I'll show you how to do that. So basically what we're going to do now is we're going to zoom out just so you can see what we're working with, and we're going to extend the canvas. So before I do any extending of canvases, it's always good practice. Go to your background layer, press Ctrl J to duplicate your layer. We always keep the background layer safe, and we'll turn that off. Now what we need to do now is we're going to extend the canvas, and my phone's going a bit nutty over there. We're going to extend the canvas out. So you can do it, basically I've just pressed the crop tool here, okay, so top left. You can use the crop tool, pick the left, drag it, go to the right and drag it out, because this is how much we're going to extend this image by. And we could just do tick OK and be happy with that. I'm just going to press Ctrl Z and undo. If you wanted to have something that was a bit more uniform, press the crop tool again, pick one of your anchor points, keep your finger on the Alt key and pull, and the ratio will be exactly the same on either side, so it'll be nice and uniform. So I'll stretch it to about here and then press tick, and that's basically how we're going to extend our canvas. So cropping is not always just about cropping into your image and making it smaller. You can use it to actually make your canvas a lot larger to work with. Now if we're going to go into up here, if you go towards edit and content aware scale, that's how you get, well, that's how you pick it to use it. But I want to show you why we use it first of all. So if we were to make a selection here, so let's say we pressed let's say Control T, we're going to go to our transform tool, and let's say we scale it across normally. So we'd go there, from to the right and to the left, and that's how you would stretch that normally to fit. That's how it would look. So you know, if you look at that compared to the original, you've kind of destroyed your image a bit. I don't particularly like it. So what other method can we use to do this? This is where content aware scale comes in. The principle of how it works is it looks at your image and it scales everything from the center outwards, pixel by pixel, so it looks at surrounding pixels and tries to scale it as best as it can. We don't need to know all the maths. So we're going to go to edit content aware scale, and we're going to start dragging. So we're going to drag to the right. Now you can see already from when I'm dragging, if you look at this edge, so the left edge of the image and the right edge of the image, and you start pulling, you can see it's only scaling them. It's not actually scaling the droplet itself. So we can keep going. And there you go. That's a nice simple way of stretching the image. Now, I was hoping we'd get a bit more of a mess up in that, but we've got a few more images that we can play with. So that's how you would work with an image like this. You can then manipulate it if you need to. We can move it to the left. Okay, so I've got my finger on shift, so when I move up and down, nothing happens. It will just be nice and linear. And I'll move it to the left. Let me turn that layer off to the right. And we're going to try again with the content aware scale. So you go to edit, content aware scale, and we're going to stretch across, and it's actually doing a really, really good job. I mean, if you think how much we've stretched it by, look, we've got all of this here. I think it makes it look quite nice. It makes it look like you're in a really, really big dish. You can actually move it to the cross, move it across here and get rid of this horrible bubble, which you could have got rid of with cloning. But see, right now you can have it to the right here. Let's imagine you was going to use it on Facebook or in a header. You can come along, type in some text, you know, and have that placed wherever you wanted it placed. And that would make, you know, quite a nice banner, which you couldn't have done with the smaller version, especially if we stretched it out the way we did. So let's jump over to another image that we've got here, another droplet. Let's try something like this. Now this, I'm pretty sure should mess up the way I want it to mess up. So we're going to go to the background, press Ctrl J to copy, hide the background. We're going to go to the crop tool again. We're going to pick an anchor point, keep our finger on Alt, stretch it out to as far as we want, let go. So now we have our canvas. Now, just to show you, because I've gone a bit too quick, when you are cropping and you do start to move, okay, you get a tick up here at the very top of the screen. You can click that. What I just do, just for convenience and to be quicker, I just double click on the screen and it'll go. It's basically a confirmation click. So we're going to go to the transform tool again in edit, content aware scale tool, click that, stretch it out, and you can probably see just a bit. Can you see now? If you look, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see me. In the center here, our droplet is actually starting to stretch. Can you see it starting to stretch? Not that much, but it's stretching. Now this is how we're gonna get around this way, and I'll show you how we're gonna do it. What we need to do, and I'm going to show you my method, if that's okay. I'm going to get a brush. If you press Q on your keyboard, it will give you your quick mask tool, and then when you brush anything that's in the red, you're selecting. So I'm going to brush around this droplet and then fill it in, and then when you press the Q key again, it will show that you've made a selection. The reason I use this method for stuff like this and other bits, it's easier because I have a nice visual representation of exactly what it is that I'm doing. So I press Q and we have a selection. Now you have to go over to channels. So next to your layers tab, to the right of it, click channels. Down the bottom where you see like the little square piece of paper, click it, and then you're going to get this. If you press delete on your keyboard, obviously it will delete what's the background and leave you with a black selection. So I'm going to brush that in just so it's solid. There we go. Now there's a reason we've done this, and I'll show you why. So we've created an alpha channel, and this is what we have here. Now if we go back to edit and content aware scale, and we stretch like we were doing, we stretch again. I'm just trying to make it mess up a bit on purpose. Go to protect at the top here. So you see you've got a little symbol of a person, and to the left of that you have a drop down menu. If you click alpha channel, okay, you'll do this, and you'll be thinking now, oh my gosh, what's happened? Why is that happening? Well, there's a reason, and it's good to always look and learn from a mistake. The reason this has happened is if we go back to our channels and go down to our alpha channel, black is not what is selected. White is your selected area. Okay, so all you have to remember is if we press Ctrl I to invert this centerpiece here, this is what your selection actually is. So anything on the outside is not selected. This central bit, which is white, means the droplet is selected in that alpha channel. So when you go into content aware scale and you stretch, what you're basically telling Photoshop is, in that selection that you made, you don't want it to be affected by the pixels, by the stretching in content aware scale. So you can see, if you don't use it, it starts to stretch the droplet. If we select the alpha 1 mask that we made, the channel, then it's preserving the details and the proportions inside that droplet, so it doesn't get affected. It doesn't mean it will always happen. At some point you'd stretch it beyond its means, but for now you can keep stretching and stretching, and it doesn't actually affect that droplet. And that will apply if it's a person, it will work in landscapes, so anything like that it will work. But you must remember one other thing. Once you've done this and you've gone okay, if you now want to stretch again, you'll have to go and make another mask. The reason being is if you look at the position now of this droplet, and if you so have a rough look here, which is slightly to the left, and you look at the alpha mask, it's to the right. So it will then only preserve what's in the center of this part of the screen. We know our droplet is over here somewhere, so we'd have to make another one. Or you can use your baseline layer, so your background layer here, as reference. So we can go back up to our first layer, change the opacity, use our move tool, zoom in, and to zoom in I'm pressing the Alt key and I use the roller on my mouse. I just find that quicker. Line them both up about there. Okay, I did a copy then, so they've both lined up now. The top and bottom layer are lined up. So now if I went back to content aware scale, so content aware scale, and I start stretching again and again. Let me just try and make it so it starts to distort. Thank you for popping up. And I stretch, then I would go to protect and then choose alpha, and now it's preserved that center part of detail again. And just to show you, now this isn't for you to do, but just to show you how much you've actually stretched this image, if I go to my crop tool, I stretch it out, we've actually done a really good percentage of stretching it. Okay, it doesn't look too great, but look how much we've actually stretched it without distorting that original droplet in the center. So I hope you can use this, and I hope you found it useful. If you have any ideas you want me to try it with, or you want me to show you with it, please just give me a little comment down below. If you can, subscribe and like this and share it. And if you want some more, if you want a notification when I've done some more, sort out the little bell in the corner, and I'll see you soon. See you later.